Hello and welcome to Pock and Rob. Today's video we're continuing our series that is covering our top 100 songs of all time. This is my son and he's got his own YouTube channel which he doesn't put much on. It's FoxEatingNintendo.
Yep.
We've both done our top 100 list using the Pub Meeple ranking engine, and our previous video covered tracks 100 down to 91. And as we said on the last video, we're not exactly going into that level of saying this is 96 and this is 95. We're kind of doing them in batches of 10 and saying these are all roughly in this same region here. So moving now into the 80s, which means we're doing 90 down to 81. Joel's going to start off, and before we do that, I'll just remind you to like the video, hit the subscribe bell and the bell to receive notifications of future content, and it's over to you, Joel.
So, my first song is Rule the World by Take That.
Okay, so it's from the film Stardust.
Yeah. I hate the film.
It's a shame. The film is perfectly fine. It's based on a book by Neil Gaiman. But I think the film's fine. The song is better than the film, though. I agree on that.
The song is amazing. The film is not.
My first pick is the most recent song in my entire list. It's from an album that came out last year in 2021 and was in fact my album of the year. It is the title track of the Lathams album, How Beautiful Life Can Be. I really think this is an absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, happy, uplifting song, and there aren't enough of those in the world. And at the moment, boy, do we need some happy, uplifting songs. The world's in an awful place, and a bit of How Beautiful Life Can Be just lifts the spirits ever so slightly.
My next song is a meme.
A meme?
It's a good meme.
Oh, I know what meme it is.
Are we no strangers to love?
It's not what it's called.
You know the rules, and so do I. You must rickroll every person you see with Never Gonna Give You Up, which is my next track. I love this song. And it's very fun. Its meme status makes it so much better.
That came out in 1987, I think. Got to number one. I remember not particularly liking it at the time because it was a Stock Aitken and Waterman track, and that was just such a formulaic thing. But this, it's lived on. It's a decent song. I'd never put it in my top.
Its meme status makes it better.
My next pick is by Elton John from the album Honky Chateau from 1972. And I first came across it due to its usage in the film Almost Famous. Now, it didn't make it onto the Almost Famous soundtrack. Another Elton John track did, which at least one of us may be coming to later. But this one is Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters, which I think is one of his very best sparse piano ballads. It's a great song, Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters. He even did a sequel to it called Part 2, which was on a much later and, should we say, less well-received album than Honky Chateau.
So, my next track is by The Killers. It's All These Things That I've Done.
Is this the one that's I've got soul but I'm not a soldier?
Correct.
Yeah, of course it is.
Because I did this at my old stagecoach and I really enjoyed the song ever since.
It's not the most successful Killers track, though. That is Mr. Brightside. Mr. Brightside was in charts for years. Not just like weeks and months, whatever. It's in the chart for years, like ridiculous number of weeks.
Mr. Brightside makes me I don't think I can recall the song Mr. Brightside, but I automatically hear Mr. Blue Sky playing in my head when you say it.
That's ELO. My next pick is something that I've gigged multiple times. It's one of my favourite guitar warm-up pieces. It is Fire and Rain by James Taylor. Now, it's a particularly sad song. It's about his time in a mental health institution, and someone that was present there with him took their own life, and it's about this character of Suzanne who did that. But it's an achingly beautiful song, Fire and Rain.
My next track is by a YouTuber called Wilbus, who I think is very funny.
I don't.
And this is the song I'm in Love with an E-Girl.
I hate this. Yeah, I hate both of his songs that you've played me. Your New Girlfriend or Boyfriend or whatever it is just absolutely ghastly. No, I can't.
He has an
can't be doing that.
a band recently called Lovejoy, which I haven't had the chance to listen to yet.
My next track is Slade. Slade appeared in the previous 10 that we covered. This time it is a number 2 hit single. It's Goodbye to Jane. This is a stomper. I've gigged this and I really enjoy playing this one. It's great fun to play, great fun to sing. From the Slade album, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. And you like this one quite a lot, don't you?
Yeah.
At one point it was in contention, but not for a while now. For yours, wasn't it?
Yeah, a very long time ago.
You're...
My next track is by Adele.
Okay.
It is one of my favourite Adele tracks. It is Rumour Has It.
Good song. Definitely a good song. I think it's in my top 15
Rumour
Adele
Has
tracks.
It. It's from 21.
Yeah.
Which is probably my favourite Adele album.
I think the highs on 21 are higher than the highs on 25, but I think overall, I prefer the 25 album personally. I think it's more consistent.
I haven't listened to just the straight albums in a while.
I have, however, because I did my top 15 Adele songs, which you can see here, along with my review of Adele 30. And Rumour Has It, I think, was in my top 15, possibly my top 5, but it's a fine song. Speaking of Adele, my next pick is from an artist that is very much a forerunner and blazed the trail that Adele has most definitely followed. It's Amy Winehouse, and it's the track Love Is a Losing Game from the Back to Black record. Really good song, and even though you didn't like the Amy Winehouse album, which I thought you would, you did quite like Love Is a Losing Game, didn't you?
Yeah. So, my next track is You Have Performed.
Yep.
It is Castle on the Hill by Ed Sheeran.
We have indeed. We've done it in our covers band. I think we play it better than him. We put more funk in it.
No, you don't.
We do.
No, you don't.
My bass on that is particularly good. From the Divide album. And yeah, it's a fun song to play. It's actually a fun song to sing. You just don't recommend to anybody that they should ever drive at 90 down country lanes. My next pick, I'm getting all country. This was in my top 15 country songs of all time. It is I Hope You Dance by Leanne Womack. I first heard this on a journey into Birmingham to work on a night shift on a Radio 2 programme, and I really, really liked it. I bought the album. It's the best thing on the album, and the album itself's pretty decent. I Hope You Dance, Leanne Womack.
So, my next track, I've performed this time.
Oh, have you?
With my choir at school, before I moved up choirs.
Go on.
And it is Fireflies by Owl City.
Yes. I used to own the album this came from, and I no longer own the album because the best thing on it by a country mile is Fireflies. My next pick, I'm staying in the country field, but this time it's Eurovision country, and it's Calm After the Storm by the Common Linnets. So this was 2014's Netherlands entry for the Eurovision Song Contest. That's where I first saw it and heard it. It was beautifully staged, a stunningly great song that, in my opinion, really should have won. But it went to Austria that year with Conchita Wurst. I would say this is probably my all-time favourite Eurovision song. It's so beautiful. Fantastic country song, Calm After the Storm by the Common Linnets.
So, my next song has been a Jools Revenge on our Generation Mix podcast.
Did I like it?
You thought it was clever. I can't remember if you liked it or not.
Is this another YouTuber?
This is another YouTuber called John Cozart, and this is YouTube Culture.
This was clever. I will definitely grant that. The lyrics were very, very well done.
So, this used to be very high up in my list about a year ago, and it's dropped significantly since then. Because, I've been watching the video more, and the video turns me off because there's a weird section of the video that I don't particularly like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can understand that because there've been videos to songs that I have really taken against and have put me off the song. It's only when I've got older that I've learnt to really like the song. In fact, there'll be something coming up in a future video that's become one of my all-time favourite tracks. It's not what you're thinking.
which
is another Brick in the Wall Part 2 by Pink Floyd. Although I do like that, it's not in my top 100. My next pick is from a band that I consider to be one of the most underrated of all time, despite the fact they had huge amounts of success. It's the Kinks. However, it is their most celebrated song. It is Waterloo Sunset. This is timeless. It's Waterloo Sunset, for heaven's sake. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, okay, I can picture that one. My next one is my favourite DC Talk track, which is the only one on this list.
Okay.
Can you guess which one it is?
I think it's probably... Well, it used to be Jesus Freak.
Yeah. It's not new. It's not anymore.
Okay.
It is What If I Stumble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And What If I Fall.
Ah, may well turn up on my list. My next pick is a song that, in its most famous version, I don't particularly like. But a specific cover version, I think it is stunning, and it is Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but it has to be Ava Cassidy's version. It brings out to me the beauty and the drama in the song, and in a way that, to be honest, the one from Wizard of Oz just doesn't do for me. But Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Ava Cassidy is beautiful. It must be just... It's her voice. It's one of the best ever voices in music.
I don't like that.
No, fair enough.
I don't like the original song either, but my final one of this run of 10 used to be my favourite Disney song.
Right.
And it's not from a Disney musical. It is Barking at the Moon from Bolt.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's it sung by?
I don't know. It's quite country.
It is quite country. It's all
You're
right.
making faces.
It's all right. That's all I can say for the song. It's certainly not one that I would turn off on the radio or boot the CD out. It's perfectly fine, but that's the best I can say for it.
Well, I could say that for hundreds, or nearly 100 of your tracks.
That's not true. My final pick in this batch of 10 is Slade again. And this time, this is the last Slade song, I think, in my top 100.
I could say it for this one as well.
It's Far, Far Away from the album Slade in Flame 1974. Number 2 hit again. This is, again, something I've gigged. There seems to be a common thread in a lot of these songs. But I really, really like Far, Far Away. It's a perfect pop song.
With your head up in the clouds.
That's the one. So that concludes part 2 of our top 100s of all time. I'll just remind you to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Our subscriber count is slowly rising. And hit the bell to receive notifications when we release something new. And we'll see you in a week.